Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora.
Good morning, Aurora.
The time is now 8:06 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We are in this thing. The sound of my voice may seem elevated and it may seem super loud. That's because I'm standing on a chair.
He's doing some things.
I'm doing some things, but we endeavor.
He's redecorating the studio.
We are redecorating.
What's happening now. There's a whole operation happening in this moment.
That's right. Now you are listening to and watching Jenettesplaining.
That's me.
Yes. This is where we make bureaucracy easy to digest in a small pill form.
I'm waving hello to all of you. You can't see.
All right. And we are coming to you guys live from downtown Aurora. Jeanette, how was your weekend or your week?
My week was great. I've been on vacation. Woo! Yay! So I have been out of town for the whole week, basically. So BTP and I took a little trip down to Missouri, which was pretty entertaining. We did. He's a little tie-tie as well.
A little tie-tie. I like that.
He's a little sleepy. So we did that. Went to a wedding. Super fun. Did some hiking and stumbled upon a street festival down there, and that was a good time. We're up to Pacific, Missouri, and it's amazing pork.
Did you say word up?
I said yes.
Oh.
Is that a thing?
Oh, the language is... Oh, you hear that, you guys? The language is infecting our people. Word up.
Is that a thing still? I don't think the hip kids say that anymore.
The hip kids do say that.
Oh,
the
good.
hip kids... Yeah, you're
Fabulous.
hip, right?
I'm so hip.
Exactly, see?
The
hip bone.
And then after Missouri, came back, headed up to Door County, Wisconsin, which was lovely. It is the county with the most miles of coastline of any county in America.
Nice. I was going to say it had to be the county with the most doors.
It didn't have as many doors as you'd think. I had a requisite number of doors. Like, I did not find myself wanting for any doors while I was in Door County. But I think they call it that. I don't know why they call it Door County, but the very tip of the peninsula is called Death's Door because, like, ships used to run aground there. Door County is lovely, but if you're looking for beaches, it's a little tricky. Like, they've got a couple really small ones where I think they've trucked in sand, but otherwise it's all like rocky coastline.
Jeez.
Which is lovely and makes for some really terrifying boating, which happened yesterday.
You went boating?
We went boating.
Oh.
We went on like a boat tour. And it was definitely like one of those like where I was just seeing the headlines of like, 15 tourists die in a boat crash off the coast of Door County. But it was fine.
Damn.
Saw some lighthouses. Saw some islands.
Nice.
So lovely.
Good morning to Jennifer Ryan Mayton. Hello, Ben Tennant. Good morning, and thank you, Ben, for subscribing to the YouTube channel.
Ben!
Greg Ellsbury, good morning, sir. Good morning, Aurora. Have a safe and blessed holiday. We appreciate that. And Victoria Hyla Maldonado, good morning to you as well. She says Door County is the best. So
it was lovely. Like, you don't go to Door County to like do a million things, although we did do a lot of things. But you really go to Door County to like force yourself to not do things for a while, which was very nice. Like, like a slower pace of life. Enjoy the scenery.
Right.
Your emails don't send on time when you expect them to. Like, have a little. You sample all the breweries. Oh my god, Wisconsin is like the holy land for craft breweries. So
I was gonna say, yeah, you had to be beer crazy out there.
It was great. We got like a flight at every place we went. There, we have a whole ranking. Maybe I'll post that later. Some recommendations. We had cherry beer at every single one. Because they're also known for cherries.
Door County?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They grow cherries. It's not cherry picking season yet. I think that's in a couple weeks.
Damn.
To all the folks headed out of town, by the way, because this is the big weekend, right? This is like the first weekend where everybody is headed out of town, right? Since the pandemic. Be patient. Places are still understaffed. Have reservations. Because if you don't, you are not going to show up and find a place right now.
Right.
It is booked. But do go enjoy your weekend.
So, in regards to the weekend, we got fireworks tonight.
We do.
Actually. We have fireworks, guys.
Yeah, so if you're staying in town for the 4th of July weekend, do not go to the 4th of July fireworks on the 4th in Aurora. You will miss them.
Unless you're doing them yourself.
Unless you are doing them yourself. Which, please don't. My poor dog.
Right. Oh yeah, we got a button for that. That's right.
We do. We have the button now. So fireworks are tonight at River Edge Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to those. There's usually live music. There's usually some things. I've been on vacation, so otherwise I would tell you all the things that are happening. Like I was paying attention. But
BTP, how was your? Now you have Gatorade today. That's different. Why Gatorade?
Just a little dehydrated. I was out with a friend last night, and it was kind of a long night, so...
What were you doing?
Just hanging out with a buddy.
Ah. What were you doing?
We were drinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See that?
Alexis, man.
See, that's questioning people 101, you guys, right?
Yeah, we're going deep right now.
What were you doing? We have fun.
Slash, hanging out with a friend who was not feeling too great. So.
Getting juicy.
Having his...
Yeah, just he needed someone to talk to,
Right.
So I was there.
We all have to be that friend from time to time.
From time to time. It's important.
Yeah.
Oh, the event at River Edge Park tonight. So the fireworks, there's a DJ at each location. Starts at 7.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So the locations are, as usual, right? McCullough Park on one side, right, of the river. That's over by... like the Prisco Center, 7 p.m., DJ Pena, and on the River Edge Park side, DJ Suave Smooth.
Ben Tennant says we need visual on this operation. Don't trip, Potato Chip. We're about to give you the visual at 8:30.
We're going.
Oh, yeah, it's part of it. So here's the thing, you guys. You remember, if you've been a fan of this show since the beginning,
as you should have been,
you will know that there was no video at all. And there was a little bit of video. Then there was only video for interviews. And now we're doing video like basil on top of linguine, right? We're sprinkling it liberally. That's what we're doing.
I didn't know where you were going with the basil for a second.
But one of these days
really
you're going to get all basil
food.
leaf.
Oh no,
Yep.
that's a lot. That's intense.
The time is 8:14 a.m. All right, so I have a quick update before we get into our news topics.
Okay.
So real quick for you guys, just to let you know what is happening, because this is very, very important. Aurora Township and the Senior and Youth Services present Phase Pork Chop Barbecue Fundraiser Monday, August 9th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. $15 per dinner, drive-through or carry-out only. 313 Gale Street is the address. The funds go towards youth scholarships in Aurora. Shouts out to Aurora Township. And we had Simon Rodriguez on the show yesterday, and he gave us a great rundown of all the youth activities in the city. So be aware of that. Okay.
Right.
Now here's the thing. I heard that the city of Aurora was gonna restructure boards and committees and limit the numbers of some or make a standardized process, but the same ones remain. There hasn't been any changes. What's the deal?
There's like changes but not changes. So we talked about this a few weeks ago when they were still talking about it. So the city of Aurora has about 1 million advisory boards and commissions. It's like 40 something. It's a lot of them. And so they have they're attempting to standardize, and they did. They passed at the last council meeting. They passed how how they operate the meetings, right? Because all of these meetings are technically open to the public record, so you have to have agendas posted 48 hours in advance, and you have to have quorums, and you have to keep records and post minutes and make sure there's time for public comments and all of that. It's quite the paperwork thing, right? And you also have all kinds of rules whenever you have meetings like these about like emailing people in your board or commission. So yeah, you're looking at me, right? No, this is a thing. So if you're all on a board or a commission and you need to like get some business done in between in the middle of the month, you cannot hit reply all on an email. You will break the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
No,
yeah,
you trigger, because then you trigger a meeting. So there's all these rules about like how, so there's all these rules about how you have to run these boards and commissions. And so they revamped it a little bit. So there's a standard number of people on a commission. It's like every commission has like 9 people now. For the most part. We got it? You're done redecorating?
My bad. Yeah, keep going.
You good?
So the board,
good.
So that's...
So they're standardizing the number of people on the board. They're standardizing how long you are on the board. Like all of these things. Great, fine, good. Totally here for that. But why do we have so many still? Why? Some of these haven't met for like years.
How do you know that?
Like get rid of, because they're all posted on the cities. On the website.
So you're woke and you know what's happening.
So woke. I am not woke right now. I have not slept much. Yeah, he's giving me that. It's a what do you call it when the words mean two things?
It's a synonym.
Synonym. Woke and woke.
Yeah.
Coffee. We're working on it. So my thing is just like it's less about how many people are on the commission and all this, although I do think that's helpful. I think that standardizing this all is probably good, because then it makes it easier for the poor bureaucrats like moi, who have to put out all of the agendas and do all the minutes and all of this like paperwork stuff. But like, can we just maybe like by statute get rid of like half of these things that haven't met in forever, and I don't know, so that you don't have to spend all your time making cancellation notices for things and all of that. I am just a fan of efficiency in government, that's all.
So to all of you guys out there, are any of you on any boards? If you are, let us know in the chat.
Yeah,
let's
holla.
Shout out your board. Holla.
And let us know what exciting thing you're working on, too, as a board. Because that's the thing, some boards really do a lot. Like, some boards and commissions, like, if you're talking about the Planning and Zoning Commission is an important board, because what it does is provide recommendation on any new development that's coming to town before the city council has to vote on it. So so that's actually like a high clout. A lot of people who are on Planning and Zoning Commission, they end up going on to serving on city councils. That's like a pretty standard way of like getting started in municipal government.
Bing, bing, bing. All of you listeners
Yeah,
out there.
right?
Holla.
Because remember how we talked about everybody running for offices and things? For Planning and Zoning Commission, you don't run for anything. You just get appointed, right? But you got to let them know, like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. You can apply for that. But you get to know all of the developers in town. You get to know, and who's like building things and sort of a lot of the issues that are happening in terms of land use and zoning and all of these things. So that's a really important one. But there are lots of other boards and commissions that got started years ago that just aren't really relevant anymore.
Right.
Or they could be relevant if someone were being really active about pursuing them. But as it stands now, they aren't. So.
All right, the time is 8:20. Good morning to Anna Sierra. Shout out to Anna's Custom Treats. Victoria tells us that yes, Fish Boils, mini golf, and Wilson's Ice Cream.
Oh my God.
Going back to
I went to a fish boil. this weekend. Okay, so I was my vegetarian card was officially revoked this weekend. I'm starting the counter over. I haven't really eaten meat in like 20 years or so, but I had a lot of pork in Missouri, and then I went to a fish boil in up in Door County. And what's cool about the fish boils is they get the fish that morning basically, and they chop it up, and then they toss it in this like giant pot with the potatoes and the onions and stuff boiling out back.
Got to.
And then they toss kerosene on the fire, and the thing like explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
America.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's actually
a Patriot boil.
I guess it's like it's actually like a Norwegian thing, or like Swedish thing, or like Swedish Norwegian American thing, right? Like
Patriots, right?
it was like their way of feeding an awful lot of people at like the logging camps and stuff like that really quickly and easily. Is just we boil a bunch of fish in a giant pot, and then everybody eats from it. So yeah. Shout out to the fish boil.
So Greg tells us he represents building trades on commission. Very important to have input. Yes, sir. And Dora says, who from the Planning and Zoning Department is on council? That is a good question. And good morning to Maria Charito. And also good morning to Dora Sanchez Soto. And Aisha Saxon is here. What up, Aisha? Could you clap for Aisha, please? Bizzle, tizzle.
Okay. What's next?
Now here's what's next.
Talked about fireworks. That was on the list.
We did. We talked about fireworks. Well, we actually on this show, we don't have a list. We're doing this.
Yes, you're right. It's all off the cuff.
This is off the cuff because we know the news.
We
are getting the news.
As we go.
But we do have something to tell you guys about. We have L news coming. We have
La Noticias.
Las Noticias. Yes,
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Like the most Aurora Spanish ever.
Did you know that minimum wage in Chicago has hit $15 an hour?
It sure has.
That is, yeah.
So that's a thing. So they passed.
The kids like, that's right. The kids like, when y'all grow up, you can maybe make even $15 or more an hour, hopefully.
Aim big.
Aim big.
So Chicago they passed the legislation back in 2019 or something like that,
right.
and it was one of those where we're passing it now and then it'll like scale every year. So and today is when it July 1st. Yesterday, July 1st. So happy halfway through the year. How are you doing on those resolutions? Anyone remember those?
No.
Yeah, no.
Bizzle Tizzle, didn't you make resolutions?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah.
The resolution was not to die of COVID.
Yeah.
And you did it, baby.
Hey.
Holla.
Yeah, successful resolution, I say. So look, all right, we're a small inspirational sidetrack diversion. It's halfway through the year, which means you still have half a year to do something great with this year. And we went into this year, it was a little dark, right? Like the beginning of the year, we had,
it was dark.
It was dark.
Morbid.
It was dark. We
Noir.
What did we have this at the beginning of this year? We had like a massive pandemic where people were dying, and we had an insurrection on the Capitol, and It was just not a good start to 2021. That's the year we're in now, right? And right, because we all kind of lost 2020. That one just like that.
We'll take a mulligan.
We're taking a mulligan on 2020. But so now you got half a year. So like, what are you doing? So give us your half year resolutions, or the thing that you want to do that you didn't get to do at the first half of the year.
Right. What y'all gonna do with the rest of the year?
Let us know.
Let us know. The time,
a solid 6 months to get stuff done.
Word. The time is now 8:25 a.m. Mark Hogan is here. Good morning, Mark. Good morning to you, brethren. So Mark is here, and he is the proprietor of perhaps right now, for me, the best bar in Aurora.
Oh.
Tavern on Broadway. I love me some Tavern.
Let me say, they do have...
Shout out to the 57, though.
Oh, no, but different vibes, different spaces. Totally different spaces. Mm-hmm. Because Tavern on Broadway, they have the veggie burger. They've got, like, more of a full, like, bar, pub meal. They got the beers on tap. They got all that, right? So, like... shout out to that veggie burger. It is solid.
And that chicken sandwich.
Get some Gouda on it, like money.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on. You just said money?
Yes.
And you said that in the inference that would be solid. Word up. 100.
Yes.
Jeanette is no longer Polish. She is very urban this morning. I'm glad to see that, because typically she doesn't know what's going on.
No, that's true.
When it comes to references of
typically,
hip-hop.
I do not know what is going on. I feel like money has been in my vocabulary a while though, and I don't know why or where I picked that up from.
Oh, keep it up,
but
girl.
we're all right. We'll keep moving with that. But yes, Tavern on Broadway, definitely the spot, especially like a midweek. I don't feel like cooking. I'm coming home from work. It's late-ish. I will sit, have a burger, have a beer, decompress.
And tonight they have fish and chips, and I will be getting the fish and chips. But real quick, because going back to what we were talking about, so groups like Fight for 15.
Oh, right, yes, the minimum wage
lobbying, for
we're
increases.
Coming back to that.
Some announced raises for essential workers during the COVID-19 pandemic last year. Others have boosted pay more recently as they struggled to attract new hires. Still, the city estimates that more than 400,000 people will get a raise due to the minimum wage increase. The link for this great article is going to be put in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, so what's really funny about this is that they're raising the minimum wage, but it's almost like at this point, like, I'm not going to say too little too late. I'm really glad that it's here. I'm really happy for those 400,000 people who will be getting a bump in their pay.
Right.
But it's also a little like, well, yeah, because ain't nobody working right now. You know, like... There's like every place is trying to hire right now. People are offering crazy sign-on bonuses. People are like, or like businesses, every one of them had like a hiring sign out between here and Missouri and back up to like Wisconsin. Everyone is hiring right now.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get like perplexed a little bit too, because I think that wages are starting to go up, whether because of the minimum wage increases or just because these companies are offering these sign-on bonuses and stuff like that, right? So now it's almost not the money, which is interesting. Because I was also thinking about it today too, and I don't really know anybody who's like unemployed or staying unemployed, like especially purposefully, right? It's not...
Right.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people, at least in my circle, who are like, well, you know, I'm making more staying home, so I'm going to stay home. Like, most people are working.
Yeah. Everybody I know is working, and if they were not working, it was due to literally losing their job.
Yeah, it's not at this point anymore even a, like, I'm staying home. Yeah, I'd
rather take the money than work.
Yeah, there's not a lot of that because there's so many like opportunities now where if you want a job, you can. So I'm wondering if it's more of this like shift in the overall employment landscape where a lot of people got forced out of the labor market, forced to take early retirement and stuff during the pandemic. And so you're seeing a lot of shifting that way, like from the top. And it's creating more like openings on the bottom, and there's just not people. It's not so much like, oh, I'm just sitting on my butt.
We are sitting on our butts.
Well, I am sitting on my butt.
The time is now 27.
Correct. But I guess I'm saying, like, I'm thinking that it's not the money anymore. Yeah. I'm thinking it might be more of a issue of conditions, like working conditions, that people might be wanting to see things changing more than that. I mean, I think the money is obviously important, right? But the practices that were in place in some of these low-paying positions were ridiculous. Like, you're not working, but you have to be on call. That was a thing for a long time, which is like way to destroy my entire, like, how do you even plan for that, right? Like, especially if you got to deal with childcare and things like that. That was a big issue. I think a lot of people are still dealing with the childcare issue because it's summer now, and so school's out, and that's always been a challenge for working parents. Like,
right.
Yeah, there's a lot more happening in the labor market than just people are getting an extra paycheck and staying.
All right, so since the weekend is here, where will you guys be this weekend, and what will you be doing? We would like to know that, and you can let us know where you'll be, and you might see your people out and about. Jeanette, where will you be tonight?
Tonight? I think we're karaokeing. I'm looking at BTP. I think we're both at this point just rocked by the past week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Balladola does karaoke every Friday.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have I have an acquaintance. She has a friend that wants to try it out, right?
Yes, we finally, one of our friends who's a reportedly very talented singer has massive stage fright. And we concocted a plan to get her over that, mostly through the power of alcohol. And group pressure. And it was before they changed the fireworks to the second. So now I don't know. We're probably gonna karaoke, maybe pop out, see some fireworks,
play
pop back in. Yeah.
What time are the fireworks supposed to start?
Fireworks usually go off around 9:15 or so.
Yeah, 9:15.
Ish.
Yep.
Ish. Here's what I would tell you, folks, from someone who has orchestrated or been behind or known all the people orchestrating municipal fireworks for many years. Sometimes things happen. So don't plan to get there at 9:14 and expect to see fireworks at 9:15. Sometimes they got to shoot them off a little early because of conditions.
Yep.
Like, you never know when weather pops up. Get there early, because if they shoot them off 5 minutes early and you miss it, as happened a couple years ago, you disappoint the little kids with you. It's like a whole thing. Get there early.
Ben says that he'll be ripping out drywall. Good morning to Mary Foltz. Good job, Ben. All right, working hard. You work hard for the money. Up so hard for it. Yeah, that's right. You are listening to, not the sound of me singing, you're listening to Jenettesplaining on Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It is 7:32 a.m. Good morning, you guys. We are here in beautiful downtown Aurora. We're coming to you live from the Beating Heart. That's what we do. Now, before we get into our next topic,
Okay.
I have something important to tell these dear people about.
Okay.
There is the rent assistance program that is currently taking place with our friends at IDA, the Illinois Housing Development Agency. Now, the rent program is going until the 18th of this month. It is tenant-led. If you are behind on your rent, you can contact the Neighbor Project located at 32 South Broadway. Their number is 630-906-9400. Also visit their Facebook page. There you will be able to find the link to the program and more details, see if you qualify. Check it on out. Okay, now Jeanette.
Yes.
I saw.
Uh-oh.
Let me get my facts right.
Get it right.
I saw that Amita Health was getting a $22 million upgrade. Is that true?
It well, they had a press conference, so I guess. Yeah.
Are all press conferences full of truthful information? I guess that's another story. That's another topic for another time on Jeanette.
Always. So, yeah, the Amita, which you may not know because they've changed names like 12 times over the past 4 years because of healthcare legislation. But that's Mercy. We're talking about Mercy Medical Center, right? The Mercy Hospital. So they are getting They're investing a bunch into redoing their ER specifically, which is fabulous because if you have ever had the misfortune of being at the Mercy ER, it's a bit of a drab experience, and not just because you're potentially bleeding from a place that you did not intend to be bleeding from that day, right? Like going to the ER is never pleasant. But man, the ER currently, the emergency room at Mercy right now is it's grim. It is a grim kind of experience. So I am really glad to see this, and it's especially good. This is one of those things that you don't realize, like, ooh, it's a little dank in here, unless you have been to like a really like nice, recently renovated emergency room. So I usually end up going to. I sound like I go to the emergency room a lot, and I guess I have a lot recently. But the one up at Delnor is super nice. Like if
Geneva?
Geneva. So if you are ever like in an emergency where it's like it's an emergency, but it's not like a minute's emergency. It's like you got an hour emergency. I really do like Delnor a lot. But anyway,
there's varying degrees of emergency.
Right.
Like, I know you're hurt, but can you wait with your gunshot wound?
Right. Yeah. Right. It's
I'm about to take my lunch, man.
If we're talking gunshot wound, go to the closest. Right.
Yeah.
If you've hit a carotid artery of some kind, you're gonna want to go wherever you can go. But so they are renovating the emergency room. They are adding this they've got a special name for it. A crisis stabilization unit.
CSU.
The CSU.
Holla.
That's yes. So, which is designed to basically be a smaller, like a smaller, quieter space that is not necessarily like medical care so much as it's just like, okay, so you've taken too much acid, or like you just need a quiet spot, or you're in like a mental health emergency, right? Like maybe like a schizophrenic episode or something like that. And the thing that you need is just to take your meds and just have a quiet spot for a little bit. That kind of thing. So they can give you some medication and stuff, but it's not like getting fully admitted into the hospital.
Right.
So, which is nice. It's good to see there's this shift towards... So this is all a matter of execution, right? Because you can put all this money into it and you can make these spaces really nice and really useful, or you can kind of make it a lower level of care because it's cheaper that way and you get people in and out. And so I'll be interested to see how the actual rollout of these crisis stabilization units go, and if it's actually like giving people the amount of care that they need and deserve, which is a challenge for a hospital like Mercy, which is sort of a hospital of last resort. Like if you're on Medicaid, that's usually where you go, in Aurora, like that sort of thing. So it's an expensive operation to run, but I'm really hopeful that they're putting in the resources to make sure that people who are in crisis are really getting the care that they need.
All right, so listen here. First of all, good morning to Josue Pais, but Ben tells us that he quit smoking last week. Resolutions are year-round.
We're
Word
clapping.
up.
We're clapping.
I quit smoking cigarettes 9 years ago.
Yeah?
Yep. So, Ben, keep it up, baby. You can do that.
That's right.
You got that.
The cessation of smoking is, speaking of the Mercy ER, the cessation of smoking is very near and dear to my heart, and anyone who is attempting to do it will get a shout out on this show.
Word.
Because it is so important. Smoking is the thing that led to my father's premature death, and so I really just want to encourage anyone. And also, by the way, guys, picking up, setting down cigarettes and picking up pots, that doesn't fix it, right? Like, switch to edibles, people. Switch to edibles. You don't want to be inhaling all that stuff in your lungs. It's not good. So.
One of our listeners said that they need more light on me. I look like I blend in with the flag. Well, that's just one of the issues of all of this melanin.
It's lighting.
I know. You know what? Here's the thing, you guys. We have a great light system here, but that light would be overwhelming right now. So the natural light and my medium brown skin tone and the black shirt I'm wearing kind of cancels the brother out, but I know you can see the glasses and the teeth. The time is now 8:39 a.m.
Lighting the darker skin tone is a challenge.
It is.
Because it's not, but we've developed all of the technology for pasty white people like me. And so it sounds like it's a challenge. It's not. You just got to know what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you trying to say? We don't know what we're doing?
No. I'm saying is an industry.
Like partly right.
I'd be partly right.
Yeah. You know we freestyle.
Look, man. We
we are.
You can start
this is the
before
most dedicated
you're
podcast
ready.
Ever.
Right?
Ever.
If you wait till you're ready to start, you will never do the thing.
That's what I'm.
Right?
Monarch.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Do it, baby. We got 27 seconds. The time is now. The time is now. You, listener.
No, this is like a real.
You, the listener.
There it is.
You can do it. You can achieve.
That's right. If you wait until you are ready to do a thing, you will never do the thing.
That's right.
You jump in, right? You learn as much as you can, but then at some point you gotta pull the trigger.
You gotta pull that trigger. Do that.
Yes. That's it. That's the rant.
Okay, now here's the thing. Oh, you playing it twice. Oh, you trying to get them really motivated.
No, I'm still on Mickey.
All right. So we got some more news to talk about here. We got more news to talk about.
What else we got?
Now, Jeanette, you mentioned, and I want to make sure that I have my facts straight here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because you mentioned something that was very important.
Mm-hmm.
And that important thing was that you're hiring.
I'm not
There's
hiring.
5 new positions for the city.
The city is.
For economic development.
I don't work for the city.
Yeah, you don't work for the city.
Yes. So the city of Aurora, so they're not hiring yet. Here's what they're doing. They're restructuring how they approach economic development. So economic development, to get out of the bureaucratic terms, is like bringing business to town and keeping the business that's here. Right. This is economic development, and we do. Cities approach economic development in a couple of different ways around here. One of them is to have an economic development department, and that's to have people on staff at the city. The ed department, right. It's not the ed department, it's the ed, right? Because the development department is, moving on. Drinking coffee. The time is now 8:45.
Straight up.
Scratch that. So we're getting, we have an economic development department at the city of Aurora. And then the other way to approach economic development for communities is to have a public-private partnership. And that's basically like usually some kind of organization outside, like a separate sort of organization, company, nonprofit, whatever. And they're in charge of they're charged with the mission of bringing development to a community, but they're not a part of the city structure, although often the city will usually fund it, like give them grant money every year or whatever to do it. The reason you do that is it keeps, so a lot of times in business, companies like to keep some of their information and data and things like that under wraps and don't want it really out in the public for a variety of reasons. Like if you're a private business, you might not want your sales figures out there. You might not want to know like negotiating property and things like that. So having a private organization to do that work is attractive to a lot of companies. Because otherwise it's all a matter of public record and meted out in the city council chambers and all of this, right? So in Aurora we have that too. It's called Invest Aurora. So it's a not-for-profit sort of thing. So a story came out in the Beacon News this week. Shout out to the Beacon News that they are looking to basically every year or every few years we sign a contract with Invest Aurora, the city does, and says we're re-upping our contract. Please continue to bring business here. We'll give you money. We're out of contract for that, but they're kind of, or almost out of contract for that. We're looking at an extension. But what I thought was really interesting out of this story, which we will post in the comments, somebody will, I don't that's not me. I
The link?
don't do the things. We'll post the link or whatever. But what's fascinating is that they want to restructure economic development, and they're adding something like 4.5 positions, which is crazy. Like they're adding
4.5 positions.
Well, yeah, they're sharing one.
We need
with
a guy
another.
that's 5'1" for this next position.
Right? Is 5'1" half? I feel like 4 something is like half. I don't know. 3.
Good
3
question.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Right. Because
Right.
there's not many.
No,
You're right. There's not many
10-foot
tall humans.
folks
Yeah.
around. So
Math and coffee out
math
of nowhere.
and coffee.
Man, this is you never heard a show like this, y'all.
So we're creating an assistant director of economic development position, an economic development specialist. We have an economic development director already, and then it would also add an economic development coordinator and an environmental manager who would be split with the engineering division and a project manager position. So basically we're going from like a guy to a full staff with somebody.
Postmate tells us you work half a day.
Work half a day. Yeah. Well, no. So like usually, yeah. So a half position is like your part-time secretary,
Right.
or in this case, they're splitting it with engineering, right? So
Right.
that makes sense. But it was, and which is great, right? So one of the mayor's major platforms has been economic development, and it's a thing that is desperately needed in our city. It does seem like a huge staff, since most communities have like a person or like a couple people, and we will now have our entire staff of like 5 or 6, it sounds like, and have Invest Aurora, which is a staff of like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Right.
So I'm assuming that means that within years we'll just be a metropolis at this point, because we'll have pulled so many people.
And when we become a metropolis,
A mega city.
you know what that means.
Great American Morning Show.
That's right.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say the other thing that I don't understand.
The link is in the chat.
The link is in the chat. Is that the city is adding $153,000 to the economic development department's budget, and I'm not sure how that's supposed to cover for like 4 staff members, because I can divide. So I don't really. We'll see how that all shakes out. I am really excited that they're like it's important to pay attention to this, but yeah, there's some weird math.
All right. So check it out. Jennifer Ryan Mayton tells us that her son will be on the mayor's float with the 2021 graduates.
Oh, hey, there you
Very
go.
cool, Jennifer Ryan Mayton. Congratulations.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
good stuff.
the parade, the fireworks, just some info for the people. The fireworks are tonight, but the parade is still on Sunday.
Right.
That's 10 a.m. We do the 4th of July parade is the early one because it gets hot.
And Greg Ellsbury tells us, come on and walk in the parade with the Aurora Dems. Step off at 10 a.m. Meet at 9 a.m. The first spot in the orange section. Shouts all the way out. And one more good shout out real quick.
Keep going.
Hello, Tracy Duran. Good morning to you as well. And Dan Santis. Good morning, sir. Yeah, my boy Dan.
Yeah.
Shouts out.
So just a PSA to all those people who are walking in the parade or marching or whatever in the parade, get there at the time they tell you to get there.
Seriously.
Like, have you ever organized a parade before? Everyone thinks you just show up. No. There's like all kinds of organization. There's color coding, there's numbers, there's radios, there's swapping things out. Being a marshal is like...
There's the little golf cart.
There's golf carts.
There's a fine line between a parade and a mob.
Yes.
Yeah.
So get
Parades
there.
are organized.
Get
Right.
there on
Bob's in that.
time.
Word up. BT Pizzle. Yeah.
That's right. Just chugging the Gatorade and jumping in on the conversation.
That's right.
So,
Democracy is not a spectator sport.
that's right. If you are in the parade, good for you. We'll go wave. But we should have a float next year.
We should have a float next year.
Oh, we're doing that. Someone put that on the list.
So listen here. Check this out.
Do a live remote from the float.
Check this. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Check this out. Keep that in your mind, people, about a float. And if you want to march with Good Morning Aurora, well, hey,
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure that out.
I'm
We
just
got a
imagining-
whole year. We got a whole year.
I'm just
planned.
imagining a float with just like a desk on it with like
Yeah.
the mics, and we're just like
It's
we
just
got
us.
headphones on, and we're just kind of like doing
Yeah.
a show on the float.
We can do that.
The time is now. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that'd
Hell
be
yeah.
great. Yeah.
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 Okay, So next things.
Ooh, no,
next.
or you know what we'd be doing?
Cuevas, good morning to you as well, sir. Jennifer Ryan says, "Do it." She's in.
No, wait, I'm interrupting again because you know what we'd be doing is like when at the Macy's parade or whatever, and then they have like the news people, like whatever channel it is has their news people. We'd be those people.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Coming to you live from downtown Aurora.
That's
Hell
right.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now listen, guys. Some more great, helpful news. I told you guys that the police department was hiring. So in addition to the jobs news that Jeanette just gave us, excuse me.
Which is not jobs news yet. It's still reorganizing.
Right, not jobs news
Just
yet.
wait on that.
I let you guys know that there are 2 great positions that have opened up. The very first is with the police department. You can join the Office of Professional Standards and Training.
Ooh.
We put that link in the chat for you guys twice. I will get it again for you and put it in there for you. Please consider joining. We have listeners on the force, and we appreciate them very well. And I want to give a personal good morning and shout out to Officer Sully. What is up? Can a brother get that interview? You will not get away from a brother. I will get that interview, Officer Sully.
Punch it down.
He's the big dude that looks like Brock Lesnar with all the tattoos. Check us out.
I don't know who Brock Lesnar is, but okay.
The wrestler?
No.
I mean, I'm not a wrestler.
I haven't seen a match since Eddie Guerrero died. It's been a while.
Who was that?
He's like a...
Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah.
Oh.
Back in the day.
The dude with the mask?
Little guy.
Viva la raza.
Oh, that dude. Yeah.
I saw him live like a few weeks before he died. This is the one and only live wrestling match I've ever seen.
And also, our dear friends of the Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley, they are hiring as well. They have a full-time admin position, and then they have a support position as well that is part-time. Check them out. The Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley are great people, and they do great things. And last but not least, when it comes to jobs, Community Job Fair, Wednesday, July 7th at the Prisco Community Center, 150 West Illinois Avenue. It'll be from 3 to 6 p.m., hosted by State Representative Barbara Hernandez's office. Individuals seeking employment are invited to learn more about job opportunities at approximately 15 businesses local to Aurora. On-site interviews will be available and resumes are recommended. If you or anyone you know is in need of work, this event is for them.
That's right. Don't show up to a job fair without a resume, people.
Yeah, don't do that.
Bring it together. Get it.
Wear a tie. Look good.
Yeah, maybe a little suit jacket. I feel like job fair you can do like suit or jackets, depending. But you can bring it. Look snappy.
Right. You got to look good.
Wear the resume.
You got to look good.
Bring the resume.
Yeah. I mean, don't just come there with like the thumb drive, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my mom put it on here. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, don't.
Yeah.
That is a thing that you do at economic development conferences, though, going back to
right.
You have like the thumb drive and you pass them out. And
exactly.
But not at the job fair.
All right.
Yeah.
Now...
Paper. It's a piece of paper.
Yeah. Now, we reported that, unfortunately, there was a tragic incident in St. Charles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. That business has now been shuttered. It was called Trilogy Nightclub in St. Charles. As you guys may have heard, there was a shooting that happened there Sunday at 2 o'clock in the morning. The St. Charles Police Department, in conjunction with the Kane County State's Attorney's Office, brought charges against the young man on Monday. And as of yesterday, the business was shuttered and completely gone. That's swift.
Mm-hmm.
That is speedy.
Right. From what I was kind of reading in the article, it was they're already kind of having problems with like the neighboring businesses. Right. The music was too loud. Apparently, they were next to a spa.
Yeah, they're next to like a nail salon. Like it's kind of it's one of those nightclubs that's like in a strip mall sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're getting your nails done. You're getting your hair did.
Yeah.
And you're listening to rap music? Is that what's going on?
I mean,
dance music, or
like I'm okay with that unless it's like super loud and like bad, right?
Right.
Like there's good music and there's bad music.
But that place is now closed.
Yeah.
It is shuttered. The city of St. Charles took swift action against that business, so it is no longer there. Well, it's in the process of being gutted or something?
Yeah, from what I thought I read was like the owners have decided just, we're not going to try to reopen. Like, it's not worth it. It's just...
They were only open for like a month.
Yeah, about like, I think it said like 8 weeks. I think they were only open for.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Yikes!
Yeah, I mean, it's a really hard thing to bounce back from when you have something like that happen at your business.
So early, with already issues they've been having.
Yeah.
Right.
But then was just the outcome,
Right.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Now, for those of you just tuning in, we are Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast, and this is a beautiful morning. Good morning to Callie Sorg. Good morning, Callie. This is a beautiful day. We hope that you guys are having a nice day right now, tuning in and listening to us. Have a good time this weekend.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Be nice to each other. If you're traveling, be cool. Remember, some places do still require masks if you've got to go to the airport or whatever, right? Don't be that guy. Don't be Aurora man kicked off a flight for being a jerk, right?
Yeah.
We don't want that. Like, represent your city.
Yeah, exactly.
Be classy. Keep it classy, Aurora.
Exactly. Man in the Black Hawks hoodie
Right.
says fire Fauci before tackled to the
Right to the
ground
ground.
by TSA agents.
Maybe that should be our sign off. Should be keep it classy, Aurora. Just a little reminder sometimes. Like, 'cause,
Seriously.
I'm really good with our vibe here, but it's kind of, I feel like sometimes traveling to other towns is a little like, you can't act at home, like in public, the way you do at home. So
Absolutely.
Aurorans, when you're out and about, like, rep properly.
Make us look good. Make us look good,
Said the girl who wore her Aurora AF t-shirt when she was traveling.
Well, you know what? That actually,
I love
because
that
a lot of people, you know the thing about it is, that AF, it still puts a lot of people in the mind of Abercrombie and Fitch.
I think it does. That's not what it stands for.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
not at
context
all.
of this
But
show.
yeah, it kind of does, But
Shout out to Cotton Seed Exchange for having the best shirts.
Cotton Seed Creative Exchange located at 8 North Broadway.
Yes, very good. And Wickwood sometimes carries the bitch please I'm from Aurora, Illinois here.
Sure,
the mugs and stuff. So
okay.
those are solid too. That's a solid gifting choice.
So now, guys, we're going to tell you something very special. In the month of August, you will see something very new from Good Morning Aurora. So I'm going to kind of give you a little preempt. Stay tuned in the month of August. We've got something very cool coming to you.
It sounds like a mystery.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. No.
You will say, damn, did you see what they did now? Last month they were doing this, now they're doing this.
Suspense.
Oh man, and then it just ended. Okay.
We're all in suspense.
Yes. So yeah, we've got some new stuff coming, guys, and thank you to everyone who's been tuning in and listening to us. As you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen,
Top right.
Top right. Check us out, Instagram, Facebook. Become a patron today, and
That's right.
YouTube. And what's the last link? Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
All the things.
All the things.
Follow
Twitter,
us on all the things.
Yeah, Twitter's interesting. If you guys have Twitter, follow us on the tweets. We like the tweets. We're getting more tweets and everything. Shouts out to our friends, Joel, friend of the Paramount.
Oh, okay, yeah.
James Cardis, enjoy Aurora. Yes, word up.
James.
We've got some good stuff coming.
I got the Jims and the Jameses confused a second ago because we were also hanging out with Jim Cordy last week.
We were.
And Jim and James are two of my favorite people, but one is the CVB and one is the
Right.
Paramount.
Shouts out to Jim. See?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's
Shout out
hard. The
to
J
Jim
names are
Cordy.
hard.
Yeah.
That's right.
Shout out to Jim
For
Cordy.
buying the drinks last week.
Yeah, we got Juicy.
Yeah.
Juicy.
We did. All right.
That was a cool pause. That was it was awesome. All right. So all of you guys have a blessed, positive, fun, responsible weekend. We'll see you here Monday morning. But say something nice to these people before we go.
Say something nice.
Please.
Happy Independence Day weekend. Right? Remember that this weekend, 200 some odd years ago, bunch of white slave owners decided they didn't want to pay taxes anymore, and that some people were, equal to other people, but not really, because we were also fighting over who got to steal the Native Americans' land. But at the same time, the ideals were there.
Right.
And the story of America is trying to live up to those ideals.
Right. BTP, would you please say something nice to the people before we wrap it up for today?
Be safe with the fireworks. Don't blow your fingers off.
Please don't.
You know, aim your fireworks up to the sky, not to your neighbor's building.
Right.
Have fun.
Remember the doggos. Do not bring your dogs to the fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Dogs don't like fireworks. Why would you do that to them?
Don't do that. Right.
Most dogs. I guess I don't want to stereotype all dogs. I'm sure some dogs like fireworks.
Right.
Yes. Mine does not.
All right. So, yeah, that is it for the day. Have a safe weekend, a fun weekend, and a positive weekend. And we'll see you back here Monday morning on the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Jenettesplaining is something that makes me feel very warm and fuzzy inside. I'm glad that we are able to speak to a person who is knowledgeable and giving you guys the information.
Aww.
And I'm happy that...
For those not watching, we're just listening. I'm making the little heart thing, with the hands.
And I'm happy that I have friends like Jeanette, Brent, and all of you listeners.
That's right.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Adios, Aurora.